Morning. I'm Jamie Isbister, Australia's Ambassador for the Environment, and I want to just acknowledge and thank all the panellists for their presentations, which I think frame the commitments so well in sort of four key areas: the importance of expanding the areas that we protect in our oceans and our coastlines, the need for greater management on how we manage our protected marine zones, how we increase financing for blue carbon and a blue economy, and finally, but potentially most importantly in hearing, how we draw in and understand Indigenous knowledge and experience in the management of our precious oceans and coastlines. In all four areas, Australia is looking at how we can continue to increase and step up efforts on this. As mentioned yesterday, Australia recently committed two new marine protected areas, the Christmas Island Marine Park and the Cocos Islands Marine Park, which increased our overall marine park coverage from 37 to 45% of our waters. And this is critical in terms of how we continue to expand the protection of our oceans, our mangroves, our seagrasses. Australia also recently announced increasing commitment to the management of our properties, an additional $1 billion commitment to the investment on the protection of the Great Barrier Reef and dealing with increasing challenges it faces from climate change. It's also announced additional funding, over $40 million for the Australian Marine Park Partnerships to look at how we engage communities much more directly in programs in managing our reefs and our coastlines. We've also recently announced a $15 million commitment to blue carbon partnerships, which is around how we work with local communities in the Pacific and elsewhere to increase that financing. Finally, as I mentioned, I think the focus of how we invest and bring in the voice and perspective of Indigenous people much more directly. You've heard it from my colleague Dwayne and the challenge that we face. But also, how do we use that knowledge of being the first and potentially greatest scientists in bringing science and Indigenous knowledge together through a reef cloud partnership that we have here in Palau, in Fiji, in Australia, in using data and artificial intelligence to track and understand the changes and challenges and how that informs the policies of managing our coral reefs and coastlines. Thank you.